I sold it yesterday. And the reason being, even though I think gold goes up, I sold my gold yesterday because Bitcoin is eating the world. It is literally, I run all the charts of Bitcoin versus every asset, and it's broken out versus every single asset on Earth. And to such an extent that it's become such a dominant, such a superior trade in a portfolio that almost diversification doesn't work, doesn't matter. And for me, how I construct my portfolio, I have very aggressive risk in this, but I don't use leverage. I have other assets and I have income that I'm able to take this bet, but it is literally the most dominant asset I've ever seen. They all basically come to the same thing. We're going to be somewhere between $500 and $1 million within 5 years, and we should be somewhere between 100 and 300 in the next 12 to 18 months. I have never seen anything like what is going on right now. You have a limited supply asset that now is a globally recognized brand that everybody knows, not everybody understands. But what's happening now is institutions are coming into the space. So first it was the hedge funds, the family offices, the pension funds, and the investment advisors. And they're all coming in, and the more the market cap of Bitcoin comes up, it's about 350 billion right now, the more that they're forced to go in because it's such a ridiculously well-performing asset and so uncorrelated it is. So we've got a massive wall of money that's coming into the space, and for the first time in our lifetimes, we as ordinary people get to front-run the institutions as opposed to them front-run us. My conversations of this is, this is real and meaningful and massive. Yesterday alone, I was speaking to the founder of one of the largest investment advisor firms in America. Investment advisors alone have 5 trillion in assets, and he's trying to get all of his advisors and advise all the others as soon as the ETF is launched to get up to 1% of assets. That's 500 billion from the investment advisors alone. It's incredible. Bitcoin has this beautiful, pristine collateral asset quality, but that doesn't mean it needs to be the biggest. Gold's not the biggest asset, and gold has many of these attributes, most of them in fact. So gold is about an $11 trillion asset, so maybe Bitcoin should be an $11 trillion asset. That kind of fun. But what's the global equity market worth? What's, all of those other things? That's how I think of Ethereum. It's like the rest of the space. Now, it's not only going to be Ethereum, it's going to be everything. So I do see a world where Ethereum can be much larger than Bitcoin in market cap. But it won't. Maybe it trades differently. I don't know how this all works, but all I know is it's interesting enough to have some of it. It's a popular vehicle for alpha. You can make money in this space. So I've seen day traders who can't make money because there's so many machines, high-frequency trading firms, algorithmic firms in financial markets can make good money out of crypto markets. It's a place where it looks like financial markets 20 or 30 years ago. Things move fast, like commodity markets. Yes, if you're a day trader, I'm terrible at day trading. But as a long-term investor, the buy and hold opportunity is literally mind-blowing. We talked about some numbers. Let's say I'm an idiot and I'm wrong. It goes down 50%. Okay. So let's say I put $100,000 into it. So I've lost 50,000. Maybe I'm right and it goes up 25 times. I'm risking 50,000 to make 2.5 million. 25 million, sorry. These numbers are crazy. Sorry, not 25, 2.5 million. So there is no asset class on earth that has a risk reward that looks anything like that. It's not a bell-shaped distribution here. We've got a very fat tail. I'm a macro guy. My job is to look for opportunity and then assess it. A lot of people go from the don't tell me what to do approach, which is more traditional. I know what I know. Macro is all about what you don't know. Where is the opportunity? That's why I talk about Iran. Because nobody else is investing there. That's where alpha is generated. That's where you make money. So when somebody said, listen, I think there's a perfect asset here that really has this unique property of limited supply, I then looked at it and said, looks like gold to me. So I wrote the first paper back in 2013, 12. Okay, if it's got the same attributes as gold, I look at its stock to flow ratio. in a very crude way. And I said, this thing's probably worth $1 million with gold at 1,300 at the time. And that became quite a famous article in Silicon Valley and on Wall Street. And so it made me think, okay, here's something different. And it answers a lot of the problems. They all exist together. Gold was the only answer for a parallel financial system. And it has always survived for that. So it's always been the denominator of which we can price things. You know, people who've been involved in gold in a long time know basically the price of a cow, a suit, or anything else has basically held its value against gold. So gold is the asset of value. But we're in a digital age now. The world has changed entirely. You and I are in different countries talking digitally like we're in the same place together. Everything has changed. When something like Bitcoin comes, it offers a different solution that complements gold, doesn't take it away. They don't have to be one or the other. They just both work for different people in different times. And blockchain technology, forget all of the, should it be Bitcoin? Blockchain itself is an amazing technology to verify trust. If you think of the financial markets, when a company like Lehman Brothers goes bust, nobody knows who owns what. There's not enough trust in financial markets. Blockchain solves all of this. It also solves everything from custody to payments layers to settlement, and you can build these amazing applications like decentralized finance on top. So there's two revolutions going on. One is the revolution of money, which is Bitcoin, and one is the revolution of the entire internet of value, which is all of these blockchains from Ethereum to, whatever you choose, whichever blockchain you're looking at. I think it'll come in cycles. So let's look at the world where most institutions have a 1% allocation, much like they do to commodity markets right now. Maybe it's slightly bigger than that. Okay, so where do you go from there? Where do you go from the $1 million price target, a lower volatility, accepted asset? Well, that's about then what happens to the central banks and fiat money. That gets very interesting because we're at the end of a debt super cycle. And maybe some countries, maybe it starts with the Latin American country, they suddenly put Bitcoin into their reserves. Maybe they start using Bitcoin as a currency. We don't know, but that next phase would be the next level from that, which is what people call, the Bitcoinization of the monetary system. Whether that happens or not, I don't know, but Bitcoin is basically a call option on all of that to come. So I was long most of 2017 and sold into the rally too early, but I did great. I made 10 times my money in that period. And yes, it was exhibiting a bubble phase. Now, tulips, as far as I know, still exist. They just don't trade for those prices. And gold has been through bubbles. Speculative manias are normal. Is the asset worthless or not? That's the question. Clearly, it's not now. It's lasted the test of time that there is a perceived value and trust in the asset. So will it go through speculative manias? All assets do. Maybe equities are in that now. And that's normal. That's just human behavior.